Hello, it's another Saturday again, right here on Dialogue at the Well, Wema Online TV. I know you have had a wonderful Valentine's. Kwa wapenda now, I know last week was an amazing week full of Valentines and love. Keep on rekindling the love. As young people, we love right. And last week we talked about identity crisis. We described what identity crisis was, what was identity, what was crisis, and I know we know all that. And today we are back with the same topic, with the same discussion, with the same guest. Now she's not a guest, but a friend, Apostle Favor. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Yes.
It's good to be back.
Karibu sana.
And,
feel at home.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's good to be here. Like I said, my name is Apostle Favor Alice, and it's glad to be back here
Karibu
so that
sana.
we can continue with our conversation.
Yes.
Thank you.
Last week we talked about identity crisis, and some issues that you know someone, characteristics that someone is in a crisis.
Yes.
Maybe before we conclude on that crisis, what are some other characteristics that you can know, or rather I can know me as Big Ed, I'm in a crisis, or rather someone else can identify with particular things or occurrences in their life and know this is a crisis that I'm going through. Yes.
Mostly, it's when you don't know why you exist. When you find yourself, you find asking yourself some questions that are deep-rooted in your heart. And
can we relate that with purpose?
Yes, I am actually.
Thank you.
So when you find yourself in a situation you don't know, why am I here? You start asking yourself, who am I?
Yes.
And why am I here? Why was I born? You know, and then you start asking yourself, what am I passionate about? What are my values?
Yes.
What do I believe in? What do I subscribe to?
Yes.
It means you're in a crisis. You know?
Okay.
That's an indicator that you're in a crisis, but a good crisis.
That's a good crisis.
Yeah, because of course it will give you some answers. Yes. So when you find yourself in such a situation that you're wondering, why am I alive? And is there anybody who is benefiting by me being alive? And that is something that many young people go through.
Am I of any benefit? Am I bringing an input into the society?
Yes. Am I changing anyone's life?
Okay.
And you find children in the family who feel like they are not wanted.
They are neglected.
They feel like they are not needed. And a lot of young people are going through rejection.
Yes.
Right from the family.
Even maybe relationships.
Yes, and relationships.
Yeah.
And that's why you find people are even killing each other in relationships because there's something they are trying to prove. You know, like you want to prove.
Kama wewe sio wangu, hakuna mtu mwingine atakupata.
Yes.
So actually those means a lot of, you know, we used to say kitambo hizo vitu, mimi siwezi achana na particular lady or a particular guy. But when mnaachana, you part your ways. But in the generation ya leo ama the people of today that are dating, tunazisikia kwa news too.
Yes. Mtu anasema kaa si mimi basi hautaishi. And it's gotten to those extremes. And so that is why there should be, this is a wake-up call for us. When we talk about identity crisis, for me it's a wake-up call. Remember last week we said that identity is who you are. Yes. The real you. Yes. And we also said it includes, you know, your qualities and beliefs. So if you don't live for something, if you don't have values that inform why you live, then you find yourself in a crisis that it keeps occurring. It keeps occurring.
Yes.
Today you may find a solution to the crisis you are in, but tomorrow you're back there. And so it is very important for us as young people, you know, the millennials, to know how to deal with these things, because the solution is within. If you want any change, it should come from within. Okay, so from within. And I guess in that particular act, I guess should we attach or have people we are responsible to, or people we are answerable to, or mentors, or how does that go about? You are right. Actually, every young person out there, you should have a mentor. The reason why people are getting to a place of taking action in their hands is because they don't have anyone they are accountable to. You don't report to anyone. Your own ledger. So, 1 man survival. So the way God has ordered life again is that everyone should be under authority. And my generation, I think we agreed. We are
in the same generation.
The millennials. Yes. We are these people who don't want to be told anything.
I know.
Yeah, and we are the generation that grew up fully or totally immersed in digital technology.
Yeah.
And so we learn a lot from, you know, online. Actually, nowadays, everything is at the click of the button.
My head is paining. What are the symptoms that, you know?
Everything is at the click of the button.
Yes.
And you find that we are so glued to what we are seeing. Actually, most of the people they are glued to some series they watch.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And what they learn, they take it as gospel truth. So if someone is watching an action movie, they want now to actually do it.
Yeah, I remember we used to watch Kina Jackie Chan and Jet Li.
Yeah.
When you come out of that room, you feel like you can fly and throw kicks.
Yes, sure.
But before you go that, let's talk about mentorship.
Yes.
You see, when we say someone should be under authority, under a mentor, who is a mentor?
A mentor is someone who has gone ahead of you.
Who has gone ahead of you.
And before now we get there, for you to get the right mentor, it starts by knowing who you are.
Oh, you have to understand.
Because you cannot be mentored by everyone.
Yes.
So when you know this is who I am, first of all, this is my identity.
Yes.
This is how God created me to be. Then he did not just create me. You know, Jeremiah, he says, before you were born, you know, I knew you.
Yes.
That is one thing to know, that your identity came from God. You originated from God before you were born by your parents.
Yes.
Actually, your parents facilitated your coming. But you are in the mind of God, before you arrived.
Before you arrived.
So you are not a mistake. And I personally believe there is nothing like illegitimate child. Even the children that are born in the streets.
Yes.
They were planned by God.
The process may be shady, but the actual result is God's oriented.
It is. And I know there's someone out there who is feeling, you know, like I was not born the right way. You know, maybe you've been born out of wedlock. Maybe you have been raised by a single mom. Like me, I was raised by a single mom. But it's good to know that God had planned for that. Accept the situation you are in. That is one way to overcome crisis.
Actually, when you accept your current situation, things start working out for you.
Sure, you're right. So when you know your purpose, that I was created to do this thing, this is who I am. And I pray and hope that the new curriculum in school will actually help our children to know who they are early enough, so that you don't waste time in the university doing something that you'll never work on. You know? We have so many young people frustrated out there, yet they have papers. But it's not what that is not who they are. You know, the
papers describe them this way, but there is the particular, there is the real composition of who they are. Back to the mentor.
So when you know your purpose, then you can know who has gone ahead in this area for me. That is how you locate your mentor. Someone in your area of calling, and he has experience, he is ahead of you, then you follow them. And mentorship can be one-on-one, or it can be someone you follow remotely, someone that you read their books. But a mentor is someone who is ahead of you, and you admire them.
Now what I wanted to ask now is this. Should a mentor be easily accessible, or should a mentor be someone that you eye or you icon? You know, there are some people who say, like, you know, when I grow up, or I would want to be like this particular person. Is that a mentor, or is a mentor someone that you can sit down with, share with him, and talk about yourself, and they can counsel you? You know, those are two different people. Then the other one is, should a mentor be close to you, or someone that you follow, like let's say a person X and Y, they live in the USA, and I love what they do, and I love how they carry their life, or how they do things, and I tend to associate myself with them and say that is my mentor, and they don't know me. You know, should a mentor know you? That's my question.
I would say it's both.
Yes.
If you can be able to relate with your mentor closely, if it's somebody you can approach and have a sitting, the better. But then if it's someone who is far away, that does not limit you from being mentored by that person. But the best one is the one that you can approach.
Now the far away person, maybe you're not meeting them, it's an icon. You know, there are people like Barack Obama, for instance. I would say, like, oh, he's my mentor, you know, because me na feeling like people don't understand who is a mentor. Like in example, like Barack Obama is my mentor. Why am I saying that? You know, should I be having a conversation with them?
There must be something that you are learning from that person.
Or so a mentor should not necessarily even speak to you.
They may not,
something you learn out of them.
The way you observe their lives,
yes.
there are some lessons you are drawing from them. And of course, some of the mentors, maybe if they are writers and authors, you read their books. You know, you know what they believe in, and then you subscribe to it. It can be a mentor. But I've said the best way to have a mentor is someone that you can relate closely. Someone who can, you know, tell you you're progressing well or you're not doing well. Someone you can talk to. Yes.
That was not in our script today, but we really wanted to let you know about mentors, and it's good to subscribe to a mentor, someone that you are responsible to, maybe your father, your mother, uncle, family, or someone that you know that life has worked out well for them. Back to indicators. Yes.
I think
indicators that you're in a crisis here.
Yes, I think we have talked severally about now wondering why you're there.
Yes.
Your passion.
Yes.
And all that.
Yes.
And when you find yourself that you are not able to handle or to cope with a certain situation, and you feel like there's nothing you can do about it, that is an indication that you are in a crisis. That's an indicator.
Okay. Let me phrase it this way. Maybe I'm in a relationship, or rather I've been in series of relationships. And in each and every relationship that I'm in, ninapata, it's not working out. When I kind of kuna to follow up, why are we breaking up, or rather why are we ending our friendship? But unasikia mtu anakuambia because you are doing this and this. Maybe you are bossy. Maybe you don't give me free space. Maybe you are commanding. And it's not in only one relationship, maybe a series of them, even in friendship. Is that something that you should know and work on, or how can you work towards that?
Yeah, indeed, that's an indicator that you're in a crisis.
Yes.
And the best thing to do is to look deep within yourself. Because we usually say it takes two to tango.
Yes.
And so if you find yourself in a relationship, it never ends well, you get to another one, it is good to ask yourself, what are my beliefs? Because there must be something you're not doing right. So that you can be able to rectify it before you enter to another relationship. Yeah. And one of the things that makes young people to find themselves in those spaces is because they are jumping from one relationship to another. And one of the reasons that causes that is having unrealistic expectations.
Break it down for us.
When a young person is getting to a relationship, we always advise from a counseling point of view, don't have any expectation. Because chances are, if you don't have any, at least you will not be frustrated that much. But when you have this list of, you know, this guy should look like this, should have this car, those expectations, most of the time they don't materialize. And so what happens is that you get so frustrated, the relationship comes to a stall.
Or rather you get into them, and then later in life, you know, these are material things. So that one will maybe affect your expectations.
But if, as young people, we would consider what really matters, that is the makeup of my person, the makeup of my partner. Not what he has or what she has, but who she is.
Personality.
Again. Personality and character.
Personality and character. So you have to click on those two.
Material things are things that come and go.
Yes, as we are talking about identity crisis, also we are talking about qualities of a good relationship. A wise, wisdom always calls, and that is wisdom. Maybe there's someone who is struggling to identify maybe a partner or someone to go into a relationship with, and like relationships are not working out for them. So you have heard from Apostle herself, character and personality.
And of course, work on yourself.
Work on yourself. First, work on yourself.
Be complete before you go for someone else.
Because each generation tunasemanga my better half, the other half.
Be full.
But me one thing tunasemanga, you should be full by yourself. Enjoy your own company. So let us dive to the other causes of identity crisis.
Wow.
Causes.
This one is a big one for me.
Yes.
I'm not sure we will finish, but we will
just mention a few as we conclude our show tonight.
Yes, and one of it is our upbringing. The way we were raised up, where we were born, plays a big role to us finding ourselves in a crisis.
Yes.
And especially the identity crisis.
Yes.
And I remember last time I talked about, you know, someone having a vacuum. And if I may share my personal experience is that I said I was raised up by a single mom.
Yes.
And one of the things I grew up with is a vacuum. Who is my father? And it started when now I am a teenager. I started feeling I should know who is my father. And the reason why I wanted to know who is my father is because my friends started telling me, you're not a cute. They would look at me and some would say, Maze unaka olia. And in fact, very few people have ever guessed that I'm a cute. Most of the people say I'm a Luya, others say I'm a Taita. I don't know for what reason.
Still, those are identities. So those could affect your identity crisis.
They actually threw me off balance.
Oh no.
I lived in Mombasa for 10 years and I remember even the warriors would come and say, where we went to? I'm like, why? They tell me your nose. I'm like, what? Really? So I had a vacuum in my heart. Who is my father?
Yes.
And now because I've never seen him, I started feeling I should go to my mother. I need to know my identity.
Yes.
You see, fathers are the carriers of the seed.
Yes.
So, and that is why DNA is carried out.
On fathers. Yeah.
Yes, because they define who we are.
The genes and all that.
Yeah, so I had a vacuum in my heart. So you see, it is coming because of how I was brought up by a single mom. And I know there are very young people who are going the same. They are wondering, why do I resemble different people? You know, mtu anakwambia you look familiar with someone else. Like, my friend. So it is because you are suffering an identity crisis. And there are so many children who have been brought up by a single parent. And so they keep wondering, who do
Even some by their grandparents.
Yeah, some never saw
mother,
their
they are
parents.
not in the equation.
I tell you. Some, they never saw their parents. So they are always looking, where did I come from? Who did, where, you know, who brought me forth? And so that's a crisis. So the way a child is brought up will actually inform or will cause them to be in a crisis. The other area in upbringing is the way parents we bring up our children. Recently I met a girl who is planning to get married. And I asked her several questions. She was barely 24 years. And I was shocked, let me tell you. I asked her, do you know how to cook? She told me, no. I asked her, do you know how to katakata skuma? Sijawai.
Oh, no.
Do you know how to pika shapo? And she said, no, I've never. And I'm like, what? The way I know men love food cooked by their wives, and especially chapati.
Oh my goodness. I know someone is watching this and yes, I know chapati.
I know it means a lot to guys. And I was like, there must be a problem in our upbringing. And that's why I said the biggest blame is to us as parents. Because why would you bring up a child without teaching her basic skills? How do now my daughter go to get married and she doesn't know how to cook ugali? And so I asked her, how are you going to manage that? And she told me we will be buying food from the hotel.
Oh no.
I was like, hey, I would like to see that.
Oh no.
Buy food every day from the hotel. So there are many young people out there, let me tell you, who do not know basic skills, but we cannot blame them. You know, when we are bringing up our children, there's a stage that we call formative stage. That is between, I think, 5 years going to 10 there.
10 years,
And every parent should invest in ensuring that there's something you're teaching your child. And when you know, the problem is we are a working nation. We are very busy. And so
we leave them with our house helps and maybe house help and all that.
We have actually delegated our responsibility. So, and that is also another thing. If we don't teach them the basic skill, they will be taught by someone else different things. And I usually feel for parents who, of course, they have to work and they have to leave their children with a house help. And then there is that turnover of house helps. It's like you stay 1 month, ameenda, unapata mwingine. So that child is a confused fella.
So when you grow up now to our age, you are totally in a confusion. So confusion crisis, actually in a confusion.
You know, crisis is a confusion itself.
Oh, crisis is a confusion itself.
It's a state of confusion. And conflict.
Yes.
So a child has been introduced to so much from different people until they don't know who they are. A child is even confused who is my real mother because they never get to see their mother. So our upbringing causes us to be in identity crisis. And then when a child is taught different things, they get confused at some point.
Yeah, true.
You know?
So that one actually will even affect self-esteem, as we talked about self-esteem last time.
A lot.
You feel like you are not worthy. You feel like I don't belong to maybe a particular set of groups. Wow. So, and when we say about those particular causes, are there way out? Maybe someone is asking, yes, I know there are those kinds of causes and I'm in them right now, I'm going through them, but how can I come out of these particular crises that I'm in?
Let me,
as we conclude our tonight's program.
Let me begin by saying that is one cause. I've just talked about our bringing.
Yes.
There is the worldliness.
Worldliness
is the cause number 2.
Yes.
The system of the world. The way it defines how we should act, the way we should look like. That is the rise of the enemy, or from the patterns of the world. That's another cause that we may discuss some other time.
Yes.
The other cause is peer pressure.
Peer pressure
causes us to be in an identity crisis.
That one is affecting a lot of young people.
Yes,
actually.
Because most of our generation, they want to compete with someone else. Especially comparison is a big deal.
Yes.
Because the guys you schooled with, they are driving a Mercedes.
Yeah, they are better in life.
And you want to compete with them. So you find yourself after crisis after crisis. You're in a crisis after another. Because that is now the peer pressure that causes you to be in such a place. Yes. And so there are many ways that we can actually get out of it, the way out.
Yes.
And for me, what I know and what I've learned at a personal level, it all goes back to God. Who are you?
Yes.
That is where you originated from.
Yes.
Do you have faith in God? Because if you have faith in God, because through this, I know my generation, a lot of people, there are those who are atheists. People who don't believe there is God.
Yes.
I was surprised. I did another research and I realized there are over 3 million in Kenya.
Kenya, 3 million.
People who don't believe there is God. And I want to address my generation today, that there is God in heaven.
Yes.
We did not just came. We came from somewhere.
They say we are involved.
No.
From ape to where we are.
No. There is a creator who created you. And so it matters how you relate with him. So one way out is to know that there is God.
Yes.
And he loves you.
Yes.
Remember we said last time, he says, I have redeemed you.
Yes.
And some of the reasons that we have found ourselves in a crisis is because of even words that were spoken to us. They are bringing. Maybe your mom or your uncle said you're nothing.
Yes.
You can amount to nothing.
Yeah.
You are worthless.
And that you grew up with
that. Yes, you grew with that. So you suffer. Right now, maybe you're suffering rejection. You don't feel like you're worthy anything. So I want you to know the Bible says that, don't fear, I have redeemed you. And redemption, for me, what it means is giving something in exchange of something else.
Yes.
So what God is saying, he has redeemed you from those things.
Yes.
From those wrong foundations.
Yes.
From the words that were spoken to you.
Yes.
He has redeemed you.
Yes.
And says, I know you by name, you are mine. So it begins for you to get out of that crisis.
Yes.
Have a fellowship with God.
Have a fellowship
with God. Have faith in God.
Yes.
After you have faith in God, love yourself. Accept yourself.
Yes.
Accept who you are and how you've been made.
Yes.
And start seeing that the difference that you have is to make a difference. It's not to be secluded and to feel rejected.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
Again, from peer pressure, we have been told this is how maybe this is the career you should take. This is what is making a big deal.
Yes.
And so you find yourself now, it's like you've been boxed in a place. So one way out of that is to explore different aspects of life.
Okay.
Because there is so much to you as a person.
Yes, true.
You don't have to be confined in one area. Like, for example, you are told you must be a lawyer.
Yes.
You know, we grew up with our parents saying you must be
a doctor.
I'm a teacher, you have to be a teacher.
Yeah.
So it's getting out of that. We need to get out of that, boxes. And explore ourselves. Know that there's so much to life.
Yes.
There's so much we can do with our life, not necessarily what we were told we should be.
Yes.
And the last thing I would like to say is about strengthening your personal qualities or behavior.
Yes.
Look within yourself
and
ask yourself, how can I make my life interesting? Happiness is a personal choice.
Yes.
So if you're going through an identity crisis, look within and ask yourself, what are the principles that I live with? What are the values that, inform my life?
Yes.
So when you look within, and then, of course, you started by putting your faith in God.
Yes.
When you look within, there's a way that you start to realize there's so much grace, there's so much potential from within.
Yes.
And the Bible says that God is able to do exceedingly abundantly,
yes,
far above what we can think
or even imagine. Yeah.
According to the power
Hallelujah.
That is within us.
Amen.
So the power is within
us.
Yes. So look within. And then let that power now manifest.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you so much. It's good to have you around. I know we are going to have a lot of these sittings. Yes. We cannot get enough of identity crisis. And today we have just looked on a nutshell about all that. Yeah. But I know there is a time we are going to go deep into them. And what can we say but just to say thank you to our dear friend Apostle Favor for such an interactive and informative, educative, engaging conversation that we have had tonight. And as we have said, if you are going through these crises in life, there is always the originator. There is always a maker. Just like we can say, this phone, like my phone is a Samsung phone, there is where it was made. And when I have a problem with this phone, I always take it back to the manufacturer and amend and make some things. And also at times, I get update your software. Have you updated yourself with God? Are you in touch with God? That is our bottom line here, Dialogue at the Well. We always know, as we say, as we always speak it and bring it out boldly, we know the story of the woman and Jesus at the well. That's our narrative tonight, and we conclude our show today and say thank you for being our faithful and our good friend and our dear follower. If you have not subscribed to our channels on the social media, on all social media platforms, we are Wema Online TV. We are on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. You will find us there. Till we meet next Saturday, same place, same time. It has been me, Big Ed. Kama kei kama kawa, ukue na wikendi njema na February yenye fanaka. Kwa heri ya kuonana.
Wema TV, the voice of hope.